The world never learned how close it came to entering a dark era of unstoppable terror. On a night drowned in quiet, in the hum of servers beneath Langley, in the glow of monitors in windowless rooms, a whisper surfaced, faint, irregular, almost meaningless. It was a pattern in transit logs that should not have existed, a coded movement buried inside humanitarian trade routes. That anomaly became the spark that set off one of the most classified operations of the decade. An operation that led CIA analysts into a labyrinth where every corridor ended in shadow and every discovery opened another door to danger. And at the end of it lay a truth too vast, too catastrophic, too orchestrated to ignore, a hidden terror corridor stretching across borders like a concealed artery of chaos, pulsing quietly beneath global peace. No alarms rang when the clue was first noticed. It was merely a data signature embedded in container manifests, a signature that matched no known exporter, yet reappeared every few months, like a ghost leaving its mark. Inside CIA headquarters, analysts studying maritime trade networks flagged the anomaly. It drew no urgency at first, but it lingered, waiting. What unsettled the analysts was not the signature itself, but the meticulous care used to disguise it. False routing, forged custom seals, encrypted bills of lading. This was no amateur smuggling effort. It was engineered by someone who understood surveillance, sanctions, and geospatial tracking intimately. Someone who built an invisible artery for something valuable, or dangerous, to flow through. When the anomaly resurfaced again, this time routed through East Africa with identical stealth, the CIA deployed deeper forensic tools. Cyber analysts peeled back metadata like layers of skin until they reached the origin stamp. It didn't point to a company. It pointed to an organization long believed fragmented. A splinter group once linked to Middle Eastern insurgency vanished after internal fractures. Now, traces of it were pulsing through shipping pipelines disguised as aid. Humanitarian cargo with hidden signatures. Containers declared as medical refrigeration units, but weight logs suggested something denser. Something concealed inside. Satellite sweeps began, nothing obvious appeared. Containers moved like ordinary trade. But infrared imaging picked up unusual heat signatures in remote coastal warehouses. Analysts cross-referenced that with banking intel. Silent fund transfers moved through crypto tumblers every 71 days on the dot, feeding accounts registered under dead identities. Patterns emerged like constellations in a black sky. A map started forming Somalia, Oman, Karachi, then slipping west through the Balkans into southern Europe. The corridor wasn't theoretical anymore. It was real, breathing, expanding. The CIA escalated. A task force was assembled, analysts, field agents fluent in desert dialects, counter-terror finance specialists, cyber infiltration units, and one historian whose expertise lay in insurgent evolution patterns. They called the silent initiative Embertide, referencing the idea that terror works like flame beneath ash, invisible but burning. The mission wasn't to strike, it was to understand. To follow the corridor like a shadow until it revealed its heart. Agents moved quietly across continents. In Djibouti, a surveillance operative observed night convoys leaving docks without declared cargo. In Athens, a deep-cover CIA asset traced shell companies linking to a think tank rumored to fund extremist ideology under academic guise. In Karachi, an informant smuggled a flash drive from inside a shipping brokerage office, a risk that could have cost him his life if recognized. The drive contained invoices encrypted with advanced steganography. Buried inside image pixels were coordinates, not destinations, but waypoints. Hidden stops, hidden exchanges, each link forming a chain across 3 continents. It became evident that the corridor wasn't moving goods, it was moving components. But components of what? Fragmentary intel hinted at biochemical precursors, detonator microchips, encrypted circuit boards. None fatal alone, but combined, they suggested something engineered for high-impact attacks. Something the world was not prepared for. And the scale implied coordination far beyond a rogue cell. This was institutional, funded, shielded, protected by layers of legitimacy. Interception wasn't yet possible. The corridor had to be exposed entirely root to tip, or cutting one segment would only drive the operation deeper underground. The CIA needed proof, irrefutable and complete. so they followed the corridor into its darkest turn. Human assets penetrated a warehouse in the Balkans during a power outage. Inside, beneath plastic tarps, lay metal cylinders too sophisticated for industrial use. Serial numbers were sanded off deliberately. Nearby, climate-controlled crates held vials and lab-grade containment units. It wasn't a bomb factory, it was a staging hub for something scalable, something that could be assembled fast and distributed even faster. A silent weapon pipeline waiting for activation. Intercepted communications confirmed what everyone feared. A message discussing Harvest Night. An ominous phrase traced to extremist propaganda referencing coordinated multi-city attacks meant to collapse public trust and trigger mass panic. The corridor wasn't preparation. It was countdown. The CIA response had to shift from observation to disruption. Cyber units launched deep infiltration into communication networks. Malware was woven into routing servers along the corridor, able to seize control of shipments remotely. Financial warfare began, silent asset freezes executed without attribution, causing payment routes to fail. Shell suppliers suddenly faced bankruptcy inquiries. Contractors received blacklisted designations overnight, their licenses revoked without explanation. Chaos rippled through the terror network like silent shockwaves, but the centerpiece action was deception. A covert supply chain mirroring the real one was created, identical on paper, counterfeit in reality. Fake components replaced real ones gradually. Crates were swapped mid-route using forged maritime requests, approved through hacked port authorities. Terror engineers eventually received equipment designed to malfunction catastrophically during activation. The CIA turned the corridor into a trap, a silent serpent waiting for the strike. The climax came when the final warehouse, believed to be assembly ground, was identified in an isolated valley masked by agricultural cover. Satellite thermal scans caught human movement at night and faint heat signatures indicating chemical storage. Agents couldn't raid without risking global exposure, so a silent neutralization strategy was deployed. The facility's internal pressure system was manipulated using infiltrated control codes. At exactly 3:14 a.m., a controlled failure triggered not an explosion, but a chemical destabilization that burned evidence clean without external spread. No surrounding village harmed, no plume. Just a silent end to a silent threat. The terror corridor collapsed overnight. Nodes disconnected. Financiers disappeared under legal storms they didn't see coming. Scientists defected, unaware they were walking into extraction traps. The corridor dissolved like smoke under floodlight, and the world continued unknowing, unscarred. No press conference announced the victory. No medals pinned. The operation was archived under Joint Counter-Terror Intelligence, sealed for decades. Those who stopped the unseen war returned to their ordinary lives, drinking silent coffee in kitchen mornings, carrying memories too heavy for conversation. Meanwhile, children played in cities that were once targets. Flights took off, economies thrived, life moved on. Yet inside the intelligence community, reflection remained. The corridor exposed a truth that haunts every operative. Terror evolves, adapts. It hides inside normality, like a predator sleeping beneath calm water. Intelligence work is not glory, but guardianship. Battles fought without witnesses, victories uncelebrated, mistakes unforgiving. Somewhere in the future, another anomaly may flicker across a monitor, another whisper may slip through data streams. When it does, another task force will rise, nameless but resolute, because history is shaped as much by crises prevented as by crises survived. And in the silence between wars, unseen heroes continue watching. For the world is safer not because it is peaceful, but because someone is always awake in the dark.